and have deep listening of their stories. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Shin. That was lovely, and I want to thank the dancers. What a great way to start the afternoon, and I'm hoping you hear me with no echo. And all right, I got the thumbs up from Shadi. Thank you. So yes, welcome back. And I'm happy to introduce the afternoon session, and I'm going to start with welcoming our two moderators, and I get a chance to formally introduce Dr. Hyunjin Shin, who is the assistant professor, and I think might get the award from the award for being the farthest away today. We had Dr. Nazim Mahajaran this morning. He was in Sri Lanka, so I'll have to figure out who's farther away today. There could be others too around the table, I don't know. Yes, Dr. Shin is an assistant professor, obviously at the University of Saskatchewan, a TEDx speaker on diversity, and is originally from South Korea. And she's going to be joined by Ozra, who is a PhD student in chemistry at the University of Saskatchewan and is originally from, oh, there's Ozra. I lost you there for a while. I see you there. Is originally from Iran. And both Ozra and Hyunjin are members of our immigrant advisory table. And with that, I will turn it over to our moderators.
Thank you, Sherry. So I'm Hyunjung, back again here for our afternoon panel as moderator, and Ozra is also moderating this session together with me. And Ozra, would you like to raise your hand again for people to see you? Thank you.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
I'll come with question and answer box.
So we have 3 speakers for our afternoon panel, focusing on employment and employees who are entrepreneurs this time. So we will first have all 3 panelists present and then entertain some questions at the end, just as you did in the morning who attended the morning panel. So as you get questions during or after each presentation, please put them on the Q&A box and we will address them after all 3 presentations. If you look at the bottom of your screen, you will see next to participant, you will see Q&A box, and you can just put your questions there and we will gather them. So let me first introduce our panelists. So our first presenter is Jiang Doli Xiaomin, who is founder of EcoWell Building Materials in Canada, who has 24 years of experience in European industrial products application and development. And our second speaker is Audrey Karitonov. I hope I pronounced your last name okay. Who is currently regional manager of Fire and Flower Cannabis, starting from his very first job as a grocery night clerk in local Extra Foods upon his arrival in Saskatoon back in 2011. And our last speaker for the afternoon session is Lily Yuan, who is an entrepreneur immigrant from China with rich experience in HR consulting and talent development. Lily is currently running an employment agency company in Saskatoon, providing career development service for newcomers. So after all these 3 presentations, Ozra will take Q&As from your Q&A box. So now I will turn it over to Jiang. Whenever you are ready. Oh. So.
Hello, this is Dolly. Yeah, thank you, Shin. And I have to thank you to the Immigrant Saskatchewan Partnership. Give me this chance. I'm arrival in Saskatoon for 5 years. I immigrated to Canada as February 2017, and since then I just arrived in Saskatoon and no other cities experience. And to have this speech, so I just review all the past 5 years. I was surprised I did so many things in the past 5 years. And yeah, right now, yeah, I just have my business and have my family, and yeah, but the COVID-19 still brings some difficult to me. Hopefully, spring is coming. Everything will be better. And next page. Yeah, here I just have a brief introduction of my profile, and then I would like to introduce my experience, the most important things in the past 5 years, what happened. Next page. Oh, thank you. Yeah, my legal name is Xiaoming Jiang, and in order to make everything is easy, so I have a nickname is Dolly. A lot of people like to call me Dolly. And right now, I starting my own business, and my business is a focus on the European design and China-made energy efficiency construction material, the building material. The detail we can talking is about the windows and the doors and some other products. And actually, I graduated from engineering technology in China, but this diploma is not acceptable in Canada. So it takes me about 4 years and more than 4 years to verify my certificate. In the meantime, I have a MBA certificate from Quebec University. This certificate, I think, can give me added value. But when I'm looking for a job at the beginning, it blocked my career because I'm only overqualified. It's so hard. Yeah, and right now, yeah, in the past 20 years, more than 20 years, I have a worldwide experience with the European, with North America, with a different country. But when I move here, everything starts from zero. That is not acknowledged by Canada, by here. So I start my how to say life here. Next page. Yeah, I start a lot of training, learning, and I'm not learning the how to say the formal education in the university or the college. It takes me too much time, but there is still a lot of things I need to learn, like the tax in Canada. It is different from my country. Like a lot of language expression is different. I still remember the first time I go on walk on the street. I don't know what the shop sell because what they are talking, the name is different from I learning from the book. So I attended the mentorship in the intercultural Saskatchewan Intercultural Association. So I learned a lot of the culture of the local environment, and this is why I think my business is not how to say expanded, because when I arrived the second month, I start to visit a lot of exhibition, a lot of related party, the professional party, and when I present, and they always say, "Oh yes, oh nice, awesome! I never saw these products." I thought, "Oh, that's a good chance for me," and afterwards, I wait. There is no any inquiry, there is no any email, no any project, and we are not talking about the order. Even the inquiry, there is nothing. After I attended the internship training, then I noticed, oh, that is polite. That is the culture in North America. When they say, "How are you?" "Oh, it's so nice. It's a nice product. I never heard it." It's a polite. It's not that means they accepted your products. So you still have to working hard. So except the learning different culture, language, and also different knowledge, what I have to use for my business, for my daily life, involved in a lot of volunteer job and a lot of forum activities for my professional and for my personal life. Next page, please. Yeah, so that is, I just go back to see all my activity. This is only the part of my activities since 2017. I did so many jobs. I was surprised of myself. How can I do this in the past 5 years? And right now, yeah, my business is a bit acceptable by the local peoples and also by the our Chinese association. And I got some budget in a different city, and also the project after finished, all the people is very happy with the service and the products. And next page, please. Yeah, so this is the part of the activities I involved the woman I think award organized by BMO, and the exhibition in the exhibition, and because the construction materials, so I involve a lot of design architect. They have a design week. They invite me to exhibit my products. Yeah, when I go back to see, all this effort, all these activities will bring the result sooner than later. We just need a patience and keep working and be active. Next page, please. Yeah, this is the forum. This is my partner. The right side is my partner, and we have a very nice cooperation. And the bottom one is the energy efficiency award in the Dumont award. So I'm an entrepreneur immigrant. So when the immigrant officer imported my business, at that moment I have no order. I have nothing. But she said, what you did, you will success. Keep on going. So I keep involved all the activities. And from my personal life, next page, please. Yeah, for the personal life, I do different kind of volunteer in our local community. I volunteer as an indoor programmer, and for the newcomer, I involved the IAT before as a co-chair, and as a Chinese, how to say, the immigrant, I'm a board member for the Chinese Entrepreneur Association. A lot of job I have contributed my experience, my knowledge, and for my daily life, and also I involve a lot of activities, club, and sports, and so this also contribute a lot. In the Canada Running magazine, I was posted in there for a newcomer's story because I never running in my country. I was so busy, but I moved here. I found, oh, every people like have a jogging or running, and every people like skiing. So I have to learn with them. I have to be friend with them and involve together with them. So I started running, and after a year, I lost 20 pounds. I can dress 20 years ago's my dress. It's so nice, and I make a lot of friends here. So next page, please. Yeah, here's some pictures. They show I together with my local group, and the left one is we are running at the winter. The temperature is -35. Yeah, I think if I can survive in such kind of weather, what else I cannot do it? So be active, be motive, be how to say, positive. Next page. Yeah, this is in the Chinese Association in our local communication community association. So all these activities is bring a lot of friends, and also they noticed my knowledge. Sorry for my dog. One of my family from China. Next page, please. Next page, please. Oh, yeah. And yeah, for my business, at the beginning time, I also like to looking for some job because I can understand the construction field here. But it's so hard to find a job because I don't have experience. I don't have a working experience in Canada. I was selected for the mentorship in the cultural Saskatchewan association. That is very hard to be in this training group because 200 people apply for the spot. There's only 15 or 16 spots. After the training, I still cannot have a job because in my country, I already working in a very high level. I have the back knowledge, I have the basic knowledge, but most my knowledge is marketing development and management. But here, the company, they don't need it. They just need you to make a drawing, a CAD, a basic work. And even I would like to apply for the reception for some construction company. Sorry, I'm overqualified because you have an MBA, you have a bachelor degree. You are not how to say reliable on your reception job. So finally, yeah, I decided to start my business, whatever I have a network or not. So the first year. I established the company and visit a lot of relative, the influencer or the decision maker, the home developer. And the second years, I built up the demonstration house here. I invite them and as a show, as an event, and then move to the third years. Is still hard to have some business, so I'm using my saving to invest it. Sorry. Yeah. So for the 30 years, I found the local partner because I think my company is strong in the supply the material and to finalize what is the best products for the local market, but for the local installation and the interface, I don't think newcomer is a good option. So 2019, I found my first partner here, the local company. And in the 2020 is COVID-19 started. It's most difficult period. But after 4 years, 3 or 4 years, the foundation, I got the business. I got a huge business. And the sales volume is about $250 a year. Because during the COVID-19, the construction business is booming. The people cannot travel. They have money and then nothing else can spend it. So just renovate their house and build a new house. And yeah, for the last year, I signed up my technical consultant worldwide to supply the local professional high efficiency construction needed. So I believe in the future, it is a very good future. But here as a newcomer, I have to say, at the beginning period, it's really hard to find the network, to find the proper working environment. And right now, the business is ongoing. I have another problem is hiring peoples. Yeah, because I needed people's for a small company, entrepreneur, they have to do everything at the beginning time. But to find the proper candidate and can work in a different section and field, and the ability and the willingness, attitude is so hard. And so here I would like to ask whether is any volunteer would like to do. I'm very welcome and like to help them to get a training for the construction field. And if they are qualified, I even like to hire them, or even the partner gives them some share. Next page, please. Yeah, this is what I did. Oh, maybe the slide is not working properly. Sorry. And yeah, this is a project for the retrofit house. And maybe just a click, all the picture will come out. Yeah, so the product is unique. And yeah, next page is for the new house. So there's a lot of job to do, and I need the people. And on the other side, the people need a job. Hopefully, yeah, we can have a good bridge and to connect each other. Next page, please. Next page, please. Yeah, this is new house. And this is my company's contact information. If somebody interested as a volunteer or start a career in the construction field, I'm really willing to help. Next page, please. Yeah, this is my office in Saskatoon. And yeah, my business is not only in the Saskatoon. My business is in the Canada, the whole Canada. Right now, yeah, my project is across the east in the Toronto, Regina, Edmonton, Calgary, and Saskatoon. Yeah, next page. Yeah, here is my life. My friends, my business. I still like to stay in Saskatoon. A lot of people ask why your business is going well. Why not move the other country, another city, another province? I have to say I love stay in Saskatoon. I found a lot of Chinese friends. I also can learn Chinese Kung Fu in Saskatoon. And also I have my favorite hobby is fly in the sky, because Saskatchewan is living in the sky. I love the sky. And the last important things is I found my Mr. Right in Saskatoon. So I cannot move. And I have a small question. Is that possible to ask a city to give a award to my boyfriend? Yeah, because of him, I stay here. I cannot move anymore. Yeah, that is my story. And I have to say, as a newcomer, it's hard. It's hard to surviving, because the peoples and the products, all the things, even my company needed to verify by the local customers and the local friend and peoples. You need time to build up the trust, and you need to be more and more active, not stay with your home, your family, because this is a new country, new city for you. Go out, make friends, make network, let them to know how valuable you are. Of course, I hope Saskatoon or the other, the local people can recognize how hard we are doing, and how about our value. We can bring a lot of new stuff, good things here. Thank you. Yeah, this is my presentation.
Thank you so much, Dolly. If any of you have any questions, you can put them on the Q&A box even now, and we can get back to the questions at the end of all three speakers. And now, Andre, the floor is yours. And just to remind our presenters of the time, if you speak about 10 minutes, I think that will give us enough time to entertain some questions. Thank you so much.
Should be exactly 10 minutes. Thank you very much. In difference to my in other panels, I actually do not have a presentation of mine. I actually do the talk. I have done the particular talk many times. Thank you for inviting me here. I'm always pleasant to participate in the panels or conferences like this, when we get to share. We can share our stories and kind of most of them are obviously success story, and to encourage other immigrants that are coming to our city, to our province, to follow our steps and actually maybe not to do the mistakes that we have done. And so my story begins. I moved to Saskatoon here about 11 years ago. My wife was pursuing her studies at the University of Saskatchewan for a PhD, and I have joined her back 11 years ago, almost exactly 11 years and 1 month ago. And I very much reflect to what Dolly was saying about her struggles when she was first coming here. Obviously very hard to find the first job, and your degree that you kind of working very hard, back home country is like really not getting accepted. But these are certainly like terms and conditions that you accept when you move to another country. Like when I moved here, I kind of had my mind very much open, and I knew there was going to be some struggles. And that's how basically I ended up at my first job, is simply going at the local grocery store that was across the street from where we were renting our place. And I just was qualified enough to get a job of the part-time night grocery clerk. So, and that's basically how it all started. And obviously, when you come to another country, you have your almost like a roadmap established. Like for me, that was, we were thinking that I would be doing some trade work, and then, getting a certificate to be an electrician, even though I was not ever been doing anything with electrical before. But that was the plan, because we did some research, and we were thinking what are the most needed professions in this country. And that's how we ended up, establishing my plan, my roadmap when I was joining here, even though my previous experience was not really reflected to this. But it's all started in a grocery store. That's I guess many immigrants can reflect to that. Like you just basically go where you can be first accepted. But then it's kind of hard to not to put emotions right now, because this story for me, it's kind of has an emotional touch, because my first manager is now my best friend. And we actually established our relationship through work first, and then we became very good friends. So essentially, when I started working, he noticed that I was a very hard worker, and I was doing a lot of things that not many people wanted to do. And I actually had a very, very solid reason for this, because when I first started work, I actually didn't speak any English. So I got here, and I had zero knowledge of how to speak a word. And when I knew some basics, but generally no English, and I had to compensate it with something. And that's how I thought, well, I'm gonna give my 110% at this job. And that's basically how some of the managers recognize it. And my manager, whose name was Michael, at that time, he recognized that even though I don't have a strong language skills, I do compensate it very much with work. And he started to give me some extra work, some promotions, and that's kind of escalated for me. Getting different roles, and accepting some management roles. And as you go through these challenges, right, your level of responsibilities are increasing. Therefore, you're also pushing yourself harder to actually compensate for the things that you currently don't know. And that's, for me, the biggest struggle was my language skills and the language barrier that I had with some of the employees and some of the customers that were interacting with me. And that's how it started. You're working your shift, you go and you learn English, at home. I got very fortunate that my wife is fluent in English. She came from the same country that I am. Both came from Russia, but she's fluent in English, and she gave me a lot of support and teaching me and kind of explaining me everything that to actually how to conduct a good conversation with people. And I think I didn't have to go to any special classes or anything, because she was almost tutoring me at home every day. And as my level of responsibility was increasing, I was trying to keep my English skills on par, and it's essentially resulted that I've been given a management role that I was managing actually my own extra foods, where I first started to be working as a grocery part-time clerk. I became a store manager for that location 3 years later. So it's my wife loves to call it a Cinderella story, because I kind of went from literally the lowest ranking position in the business to the almost the highest ranking from the within four walls. But then then the career shifts happened a little bit, because before my wife was doing her PhD studies, and we generally wanted to have everything tailored around her, right? Because she's invested a lot of in education. She's doing her it was a neuroscience PhD, so it's a very serious study. And however, at that time, the store and the business where we were working we were going through a big transition. And if you guys live in Saskatoon around longer than 5 years, you probably noticed there was a lot of Extra Foods before, and now most of them have been converted to either your independent grocer or No Frills. So essentially, I was manager of one of the Extra Foods that actually was initiated for conversion. So the Loblaw, that's the head corporation of everything, they decided they actually want to go from Extra Foods model, and they want to go through the store owner model, which is franchising to independent or No Frills. And that's when we also made the biggest decision to actually stay in Saskatoon, because the minimum contract you can sign if you accept the franchise, which you have to still qualify for franchise, is 5 years. And that's when we shift that happened in 2014. We're going to take this route of purchasing a supermarket where, again, I started working as a part-time grocery clerk, and kind of start building a very solid foundation and the roots in this community of Saskatoon. That's how this happened. And then, going through the process was obviously stressing and everything else. It's a very large commitment from the amount of money, from amount of time, and from amount of effort, but also large commitment because managing a supermarket with 130 employees can be a very difficult job, and it's a lot of one-on-one conversations, and just a lot of things that you have to be keeping in mind. Very multicultural presence in the shop as well, that where you have to be mindful about certain things you mention and certain ways you address to people. But generally, I think that was a very exciting experience for me for this 5 years. And during this 5 years, that's when another kind of realization for me that came, that I also reflect with Dolly, that it's never been taught in my previous my previous culture where we used to live, that networking is a very much key to everything, and you mostly network through volunteering. And that's how I started to participate in different events, sharing the story, or just doing simple things where I help people and get them their first job, help them to apply for any position. And I first started to I would call it like a volunteering, but participating in different events with Open Door Society, which is another big immigrant society where people are from different countries coming, and they're looking for help. They're looking for tips of how to be best accepted in the community, and the different channels and everything. And then I started to participate on the local volunteer boards, where I further increased my network. And I think that's where some of the I would say a secret sauce or a success is actually sitting for me personally, that I first dedicated time in actually improving my language skills, and secondly, I actually invested time into participating in the community, volunteering in the community, invest my time in the community, and I grew my network obviously from zero to the point that my wife doesn't actually want to go to Midtown Plaza with me because so many people recognize me in the mall. So, but that's how it started, and that's for me that was the biggest thing, that kind of the little roadblocks that building blocks that helped me to kind of get where I am. But then what happened is we decided to shift gears a little bit. So if I have done my 5-year contract with the store, and it was very exciting, but at the same time it was a very difficult time, especially the last 2 years when I had my first son born, and when you work 24/7 and we literally have no one here to help us, it's just me, my wife, and my son. So it is becoming very challenging to be involved in the family, but meanwhile you you have to operate the store. And to kind of put things in perspective, the groceries, most of the grocery stores, if it's a large supermarket like mine, they open 8 to 10, but they operate 24/7. Like when the doors close, there's this night crew coming. The receiving is happening, and there's any trouble that can happen in the shop. The first people they call is the owner, which was me. And so like the workload was very large, and that's why we kind of made a commitment to sell the business back and make the shift in the career for me. And essentially that's how I got into cannabis. Like I'm not cannabis user. In our country, in my previous country, that's number one prison article where people go, like it just very prohibited drug. But here it's been legalized for recreational use, and for me that was an interesting part to participate, because when the prohibition is lifted, you actually get to shape the industry the way you want it, and generally that's not very much. It doesn't happen very often. So that's how I got into cannabis. But the cool story, I like to say that they actually found me, not me finding them. I was hand-hunted for my role at that time. I got a call. They did some research. They've heard they were looking for someone who very focused on the retail, can help build the network of stores. And that's how I first got actually a role of district manager for Saskatchewan and Manitoba with Fire and Flower. At that time, they made a huge acquisition, and they needed someone who can actually participate in the shop operation. But then, now that's the very similar story happened. I worked very hard. I gave my best. I gave my 110, and then they ended up promoting me to run Ontario region as well. And I was running Ontario, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba at the same time. And then until last year, I was actually given entire West, all the West provinces, which is 60 stores. It's BC, Yukon, Manitoba, Alberta, and Saskatchewan. So they are now all falling under my umbrella. So like, technically speaking, I'm the highest level executive right now in Saskatoon for that business. There's generally for this level position, they like to keep people like Edmonton, Toronto. But since we went through COVID and has been proven that certain things can be done virtually, that's how I kind of got away with not moving in a bigger city and stay in Saskatoon, which we really love. But even though like I've moved away, and I'm no longer in the ownership of the store, and I moved away to the cannabis, more like a corporate business, the things that I've been doing before, which involving the community, they still didn't go away, because I continued this thing with like with Open Door Society. Like last year, 2 years ago, I've been the host of their diversity gala. I've been participating in the Chamber of Commerce, speaking about legalization of cannabis and how it's particularly unique in Saskatchewan, and what's going to be happening in Saskatoon in the next 5 years with cannabis as a whole. And because for me, the thing on in developing your network and being involved in the community should never be settled. It doesn't really matter the role you're in. I think this is where it has to be continued, because you always see direct or maybe indirect, I don't want to call it payback, but like that's probably the best use of the words, because you never realize the people you're going to run into. You never realize the people that would like to do business with you. You never realize the people that actually would like to actually get to know you better. And sometimes there are very genuine intentions. And some of my best friends I actually built through like a network event. Like I was a vice president of Saskatchewan Young Professionals and Entrepreneurs, and one of my best friends was serving the board with me now, and that's how we got to know each other, and that's how we basically still continue our friendship. And this is a little bit of a side going of the like what my kind of work experience was, but it's also created a new opportunity for both of us, like because I call myself entrepreneur in the heart. So even though I work for corporate business, I still like to do a lot of side gigs, like just because I guess once you kind of done the business once, you want to continue doing this. Like, and this gentleman, my friend who we met through the board, we decided to purchase an apartment building together. So, and we just kind of started to develop that business, and going into like buying some multi-unit residential properties and renting them to people. And it's obviously for us more like a part-time side gig, but we just, that thing was born through us networking together and kind of spinning the ideas what we can do. And also interesting to hear that Dolly was actually a nominee for Dumont Award, because I actually was also a nominee a few years ago for the same award, because I'm also very passionate about energy efficiency and all the projects that involve, building a greenhouse and the energy efficient house. And that's how we actually transitioning some of our side gig we call right now into being more energy efficient, developing more more sustainable housing, and actually focusing on more affordable housing for the local residents. But generally, when I reflect back, there are two things that came obviously to that were major realizations for me, as well as the two major contributions that helped me to advance into and get me where I am right now. First, it's basically investing in myself by spending time in learning English, and actually then giving back to the community, investing time and volunteering in different events where people needed some extra hands, and participate in those events to actually build my network further and develop my friendship and the networking skills through that. But I hope I put it all in 10 minutes.
Thank you so much, Andrea. That was such an exciting story. Again, if any of you have any questions, please put them on the Q&A box now. And now we can move it to our last speaker, Lily. Again, if you can speak for about 10 minutes, that will give us some time to entertain some questions at the end. Lily.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? It's okay, yeah. First of all, I'm very happy to have this opportunity to share my personal experience. And I'd like to, please allow me to say hi to my teacher, Dr. Xin. Yeah, she's my teacher when I studied in university. Yeah. Okay, my name is Lily. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and I'm also, I immigrated here in the year of 2016. I immigrated as SIMP program entrepreneur. Yeah, so since I've been here, I feel Saskatoon is a very good city. Yeah, I have presentation PPT. Yeah, could you please help me to? Yeah, okay, next page. Yeah. Okay, first of all, yeah, introduce myself. So in China, I have more than 15 years to be a human resource manager and a Great China training and development manager in multinational company. And right now, I still running my employment agency in China. My business is still in China, so I focused on human resource, career development, employment agency. Since I came here, I studied in University of Saskatchewan, and I got my master's degree of art here. So I feel very happy. And I've been here for more than 6 years. And I have my whole family. I have 2 sons, and living here with my whole family. And I like yoga, guitar, music. So that is me. Just a very brief production. Next page. Yeah. So here is a Canadian map. Yeah. Now, before I came here, I even had no idea of where Saskatchewan is. Yeah. Because at that time, yeah, when we mentioned Canada, we either Toronto, Vancouver, only these 2 big cities. So when I first came here, Saskatoon, where it is? When I came here, I find it's a very beautiful, small city. I like this city. Next page. Yeah, although the winter time is a little bit long, yeah, someone told me that in Saskatchewan, there there are only 2 seasons, winter and summer. So winter time is a little bit longer, but it's still nice. And even in winter, we can go ski, we can do ice fishing, lots of activities. And all those are what I like to do. And next page, yeah. I like to share with you all how happy I'm here. Yeah, here in Saskatoon, there are lots of parks and trails like Miwasin Trail, especially in the summer, and you can walk through or have a ride along the trail. It's so beautiful and amazing. And Saskatoon to me, it's a very good size city because it's not so high density and not so crowded, but it's about, yeah, I think the size is just suitable, yeah, to have a beautiful life and a convenient life. Yeah. The next page. And here, because I have 2 kids here, so education system is what I concern. So I feel the education here, either university education or the 12 primary school education system is all good. And besides, there are lots of recreation facilities. So all those, all those benefits, make me feel that Saskatoon is really a good, nice city to stay here. So that's why I've been here for 6 years. Some of my friends from China, they are also entrepreneur. Normally, maybe 2 or 3 years later, they will move to Vancouver or to Toronto, the big cities. But to me, I feel I can stay here longer because there are lots of good things, beautiful things, and there are lots of even career opportunity or business opportunity. Yeah. Next page. So here I like to share because I immigrate here as an entrepreneur. So I feel government has done a lot of effort to help us entrepreneur to build up, set up our business, such as Square One. It's a non-profit government branch, and in Square One, I have got lots of free service, such as how to register company, how to get market research, lots of this kind of service. I feel it's very good. That is what government has done. Yeah. Next. And in terms of settle down for new immigrants, Saskatoon Open Door Society, yeah, I used to be a volunteer there. It's a very good organization. They provide a large variety of service to new immigrants. Yeah, when I just landing here, they give me lots of help, like help you to apply the health card, find house, and lots of this kind of very specific service. Yeah, it's another good things. I feel we already be there. Lots of things already be there, help our new immigrants. Next page. And here is a critical thing. Yeah, first Dolly and Andrew, yeah, both of you mentioned that because for a new immigrant, the most important thing is try to find a job and to survive. Yeah, we settle down, we find house, we get done everything. But if we cannot find job here, we cannot survive here. So because here I'm also running an employment agency. I like to share a case with you all. I remember it's 2 years ago when I was in office, a man came into my office and said, "Could you please help me to find a job?" And it's a man from India. So I said, yeah, sure. Yeah, that is our service. Yeah. So can you tell me your background? And if you have resume, can you show me? Then he presented his resume to me. And over the talking and the communication, I realized that this man in India, in his back country, he actually has master's degree in accounting. And he has working experience in the Big Four accounting firm it's quite good background. But he told me that now here I cannot find job. So I asked, what are you doing now? He said, oh, I just doing labor work. Yeah. At that moment, I feel that there must something missing here to bridge the new immigrant and the employer. So I'm thinking about it because what I'm doing is try to provide service, provide career opportunity for those new immigrants. But it's not only me because what I can do is very limited. I'm thinking about what we can do to help those new immigrants because our topic is increasing immigrant talent in the workforce. Yeah, I have heard so many stories, so much complaints about how hard it is to find a job here, especially the first job, because we don't have experience. So the first job is very critical to new immigrant. So what we can do to help them and to make a bridge, yeah, next page, that is what I'm thinking. Next page, please. So the barrier in job seeking for new immigrants, and it's just a general summary. The first would be language. So Andrew also mentioned, yeah, keep learning, improve your language. Yeah, you are successful in your career. Then the second is academic recognition, and Dory also mentioned, and for the new immigrant, most of those skilled workers, they may have a bachelor degree or even higher in their back country, but when they immigrate here, I'm not sure, although they have so-called WES, W-E-S, credential education recognition, but even here, the bachelor degree or academic degree are not that well recognized by the local employer. Yeah, so that will be another problem. The third is networking. Just because we're new here, so we try to build up a networking, but it's a little bit hard. And just because we a lack of networking, so there is less opportunity for us to find a job in terms of internal referral like this. So local working experience, and we are new, and it's not easy for us to find the first job. So we don't have local work experience. For most of the local employer, when they are hiring candidates, they prefer, oh, do you have local work experience? Because they are not so confident of a newcomer. So, and I think resume interview skills, it's important, but it's not that important. The most important thing is how could we try to shape or create a kind of a stage or kind of bridge to help the newcomers to kick off the first job and to be successfully enter into the local labor market. So that is what I'm thinking, or I feel maybe one of the purpose and the meaning of this forum is, can we brainstorming some kind of channels or ways and feasible actions to help those new immigrants and help them to find the first job? And is there anything that government can do to further improve in this aspect? Next page, please. Okay. So from my perspective, yeah, what we need to focus is to build up a kind of bridge. For employer, I know some employers, they are very keen to hire the new immigrants because most of new immigrants, they are equipped with very specific knowledge, technical knowledge, yeah, but they may not very clear how to and where can find. And for new immigrants, they try to find their first job, but the normal channel like Saskatoon job, job bank, or job fair, but there is no, as to my understanding, there is no very specific job fair or job channel for newcomers. So it's just a general channels, yeah. So if that possible, we can have this kind of a specific bridge or channel specifically focused on newcomers. I know, yeah, next page, please. I know the Saskjob and Open Door Society and the Saskatchewan Intercultural Associates, they are doing this kind of job. They have specific training programs for newcomers. And if you are selected as a candidate, they will train you, pay you, and will find a job for you. Yeah, but anyway, that's, to my understanding, the percentage of the selected is very, very little. And they told me that it could be my 5% of the selected candidates. So I think it's a good starting, but shall we do more jobs and to engage more resource to help new immigrants, and such as if there is any internship program or part-time job, if the employer can hire new immigrants, is that possible for employer to apply some subsidies from government? That is what I'm thinking, yeah. I think we need to open-minded and to brainstorming more measurements, more mechanisms, more ways, more solutions to help new immigrants. Yeah. So yeah, that's from personal experience. Yeah. Personally, I like Saskatoon. I like Saskatchewan. I've been here as a new immigrant. And just because my background is from employment agency, so I can see two sides. Yeah. And the other one side is I'm new immigrant. I know what kind of difficulties new immigrants might facing, confronting. And the other side is I'm entrepreneur focused on employment agency and how to help those immigrants. So that's two sides of my perspective. Yeah. Okay. So that is what I want to share, and I feel that it's just a starting point. I hope this is just like how to say, inspire, or it's like a starting point to encourage everyone to think about it and see whether we can actually do and work toward this goal. Yeah. Okay, that's all on my sharing.
Thank you so much, Lily. That was really good, inspiring history. Thank you for everyone, for every panelist. You shared really good experience of you. For myself, it's inspiring me to keep moving, to keep hardworking and keep learning, to have a better future and get improved. Thank you. So to start, I want to ask you if, based on your experience, if you have any advice for newcomer in Saskatchewan, please feel free to share with us.
You mean
For
ask
all
me, right?
Yeah, for all of you. Yeah, if you have any advice, please feel free to share with us.
Yeah, can I share firstly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, just now I mentioned, I think if we want to help new immigrants, we need to have some kind of solutions from the perspective in terms of policy. Yeah. For example, if we encourage employers to hire newcomers, is there any kind of like policy benefits to those? If I'm employer, yeah, if I hire a newcomer for even a part-time or short-term, can I get some policy benefits from the government? If there is policy there, then I will be very encouraged or motivated to hire a newcomer. Yeah, because if I'm employer, compare with those with local experience and without local experience, I will prefer to hire those with local experience because that will be a little risk for me to hire newcomer. So if there is something can offset that risk, I will be very happy to hire newcomers.
There's often many businesses offer volunteering programs that newcomers can participate. I know, like, I have given advice to many people when I was presenting Open Doors that, you know, to look some of the volunteering program to build your experience, but you also, again, you're building the network with people. And generally, you know, if you sort of like working for free, but you work hard and you showing that you're fully competent in performing the duty, often, you know, people are proceeding with actually hiring the person anyway. You know, I have done, when I was the owner of the supermarket, we have been doing the volunteer programs with the high school students and in the Open Door Society as well. So there's two different programs. However, like it is just people were working, you know, 4-8 hours a week, kind of like to build the skills to actually get to know what, you know, what is involved in working in the grocery store. But I would say in 80% of the cases, those people just been hired afterwards because, again, retention is still high in certain workplaces, and if you have a person that's actually semi-trained and actually perform the duty, you always pursue with actually who's very familiar to your colleagues and already the customers, rather than just, you know, hiring somebody like brand new from the street. So that's like one of the advice I can give, I guess.
Thank you so much. And how about you, Dolly? Do you want to share your advice?
Yeah, I hope the how to say the government or some like University of Saskatchewan, they can open some internship for all, not only for the young people. The young people, yeah, they study here, they graduate, yes, they have a lot of opportunity. But for like us, although if we can have some internship opportunity, it will help us to quick involve in this environment. And the second is that possible to give us reimbursement for the newcomer come here to apply for the to have the training or exam, because they have to survive for their life, and also they have to attend those training and exam. All this has cost a lot. Is that possible? Yeah, the government gives some remit or some credit, extra credit, not as a normal, because it's not easy. The life is not easy. And the last one, as an entrepreneur, especially for a newcomer entrepreneur, is there any policy or grant to support them? I was working as a volunteer for a different organization like International Women Saskatoon. Yeah, they have some supporting, but only for the woman which is age below 26. So is that possible for more entrepreneur? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, now you can ask your question. You can raise your hands. First of all, we have Jasmine. She wants to ask some question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so a question for all of the panelists, really. If there's a newcomer who wants to be an entrepreneur, is there sort of a one-stop shop or a place that they can go to find out how they would do that? Like an organization or an association or anything like that?
Yeah, I think Square One, they provide one-stop solution. They have done a good job, yeah.
I would also double check with some of the newcomers, not particular exactly anymore with the law. However, I know that's one of the challenges that I had because I was first on the open work permit, and I could not actually run the business because of I didn't have a residency yet. So like some of the newcomers are coming, they have to be a permanent resident. Well, at the time when I was getting involved with everything, I had to be a permanent resident of Canada in order to me actually open up a business in Canada. So I don't think that has changed yet, but it's also a good information to know, because you're obviously going to have someone coming, maybe they want to open up the business, but they actually cannot do that until they actually get from the residency.
Okay, yeah, that's helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Hanjun, do you want to ask a question?
You know what, actually, I see a hand raised from the attendee. Aziz Sakar raised his hand. Do you know how we can allow him to ask a question? Jasmine? Or we cannot?
They can probably type their question in the Q&A.
I did ask to unmute, and he should have a. There you go.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I think all the questions are very pertinent. And addressing the last question, I think based on the experience that I have heard from the new entrepreneurs today, as well as my familiar with the others, we need to essentially develop a custom program utilizing the experience of the people from the entrepreneurial community who have been successful so far, as well as in cooperation with an organization like a chamber. Chamber is a very dedicated partner of the Immigration Partnership Saskatoon. So that's where I would suggest we try to make a start.
No response.
Okay, is there any other question that you can ask for our panelists? Okay, go ahead, Hanjan.
Okay, hi. So thank you so much for the wonderful stories that you shared. So exciting and inspiring. So I'm going to ask my question to Andre, because like I think that some of these wonderful suggestions from Lily and others about government policy, like providing incentives and those things, I'm sure Jasmine took a note. And I'm just because most stories of these, like, you know, suggestions for newcomers always say you need to be proactive, go out, you know, do the work. But I also know it's not always easy to do that. The very first step is challenging, right? And when you said, Andre, your journey, it was like a building blocks. And now when you are looking back, we see the journey as, you know, building block. But when you're in that moment, you don't know where this first block will lead to the next, right? So if you are going back to 2011, if you can find the seed of your success, I can see you are very passionate person and, you know, confident speaker. But again, if you can share your insights with newcomers, what was the first very successful step you took, you think? Because I also found it a bit challenging when I first moved to Saskatoon to expand my network, right? Somehow it was more challenging in Saskatoon than in any other cities I lived in any parts of the world. So now looking back, what do you think the very first successful step you took, you think?
It's quite, I guess, loaded question, I would say. But if kind of we reflect back all to 2011, and based on what I have mentioned regarding expanding the network, I think one of the steps that I took and kind of also helped me advance, because you're right, when you come in, you don't know anyone that can participate. There's obviously some organizations that can help you, but what I have connect to most of my network, I played soccer back in my home country, and I just found I just found the local soccer team here whom I participated. And the way I actually found it, when I was working in a grocery store, one of the cleaners was from Mexico, and he just noticed the shoes I was wearing, and he just asked me, do I play soccer? And we just started talking about soccer, and then he invited me to play for his team. And that's how I basically joined the team of immigrants sharing the same hobby. None of us was speaking good English, but we were basically, you know, it was interesting. You know, he was not speaking very good English. I was not speaking like barely any English. And we were just trying to communicate, you know, arrange a pickup. But it's kind of started for the small things, right? Like I just, generally speaking, I made a commitment to participate in an activity with someone I actually had no idea about, and we were trying to communicate. Okay, we were living at that time in University Heights, and I had to go all the way to the Confederation. I had no car, and you know, and there are like 3 other immigrants, we all from different countries. Like he was from Mexico, I was from Russia, there was a gentleman from Argentina, there's a gentleman from Brazil, and I think, I can't remember, and I think other one from Peru or something. And we're just trying to all of us, like, barely speaking, but we're trying to organize, okay, how are we going to other carpool? How are we going to get the bus? But that's, I think, the first step. Like, and it's sometimes you just have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit, right? So you just, and have a little bit of the trust to people. But I did it through my favorite thing. I love to play soccer. It's my hobby. And that's how I kind of start to expand it. And from there, that was just building.
Thank you. We have another question in chat box. So circumstance is networking and field survey is another option to start something. Circumstance in networking and field survey is another option to start something. This is the question.
I'm not quite sure what this question means, but I guess to start something from the point of like network. I mean, you always have to be, I guess you always start with you when you're looking at how you want to network. So for me, I didn't expect that people all of a sudden are going to be networking to me. Like, that's something that it has to come out of yourself, and you have to go into the community and present yourself. And another thing, actually, one of the practical things actually I can probably share as well when I was networking, especially when I was building my language skills, especially in the events like this, when they were actually not held virtually, but they were held in person, I actually made a commitment to myself prior to going to the event that I will speak to at least 5 people. And that was one of the commitments I was trying to make to expand my network and to actually also improve my language skills. And because generally speaking, for the newcomers, especially when you participate in events, you often talk about the same thing, right? So when did you come? What have you been doing back home? What are you going to do here? Like, you know, how's family here and there? And and essentially the way I was trying to prepare a little bit for those questions to be answered or asked of me. But as I was going, I was also picking up what people were saying. And, you know, essentially it's like when I was talking to 5 different people, the conversation structure didn't change, but the words and actually some of the things were changing. That's helped me not only to actually communicate with people, but also helped me to expand my vocabulary and as well as improve the language for me.
Thank you. I guess this is a question that asks any particular person or department at immigration and career training or program name. I'm not sure if this is question or answer. Okay, we have another, no. I guess we don't have any other question, but if you have any other question, please raise your hand. You can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
I think Agustina told us about the Ministry of Immigration and Career Training would be a good place to start. And Sherry asked for a particular person or department, and I believe that's the response to that question. And McCreary, Government of Saskatchewan.
Okay, thank you. We have another question. As a communication skill is accepted, then it is easy to start job or business. Is so?
Well, I guess I can answer it. Well, I mean, obviously, I don't think there's such a thing as is easy to start anything, but I think this is one of the things that definitely give you a little bit of the advantage, right? Because when you can communicate in the language that's common here, obviously, like if you speak very well English, that definitely will give you a little bit of advantage over other people. Because if you kind of look back and look around, like there's many immigrants living in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and Canada as a whole. Like there is, I don't think I have ever participated in the event or actually just going out with someone that's you know, if it's a group of 5 or more people, there's always going to be an immigrant or a son of immigrant. There's always going to be there. So like, I would say like if you can actually communicate, and even though it's an accent or, you know, there's, you know, all of us have it, and I think it's still a good start rather than not having ability to speak English at all. So, but would that be easy, or that's still a complex thing, right? Because applying for a job is not only for people that are speakers of the language, that's different things involved, but that's definitely something that can put some of the immigrants to the advantage, especially if they have a, you know, some strong degrees from back home and some, you know, some partnership built here.
Thank you, makes sense. Agustinia, you can go ahead and ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I want to thank the organizers of this forum. This is actually an amazing event. Jasmine and the team, thank you so much. And I also want to actually populate the messaging that were brought forth today. First and foremost, I want to say a huge thank you to all the panelists today. I can actually imagine coming to Canada without knowing how to speak English, and I struggle with learning English alongside with other issues that immigrants face. So kudos to all of you, and I'm so happy to be here today. Now, what I wanted to chip in here, I posted Ant's contact. So my name is Augustino Sasere, and one of the things I do at SUMA, I work with SUMA, and one of the things I do is actually put together webinars, and under my portfolio of purview is immigration or welcoming newcomers, and these are part of the things that I try to bring together, you know, to create the awareness, and especially for immigrants and newcomers that feel that, oh, because their skill sets are not accepted. Of course, when you come to Canada, whatever degrees you have back home, when you come here, you bring them down, you humble yourself, you just go, you know, get a survival job to keep food on your table, and from there you move on. And so that takes a lot of humility for you to do. So one of the things I do at my job is to put things like this together. And if you see on the chat box, I just shared a link. Take time when you guys have that, take time to look at, listen to that webinars. It will also give you a lot of opportunities or a lot of ideas and information around things that could be of help to you in terms of entrepreneurship and how Ministry of Immigration can help you. And that's a webinar that SUMA puts together. Also, if you, for any reason, you are the type that loves to listen to webinars, follow us. You can contact me when we have webinars. I share that with you. We try our best to share different forms of education or information that will help newcomers. I want to wrap up with a question for all the panelists, and that is, if you were to change anything, what would that have been? Looking at your history, looking at your story, wonderful story, if you were to change anything, what would that be? Thank you.
I don't think there's many things I would have changed, to be honest, because I'm a big believer everything happens for a reason, and I think the way my road kind of laid out through the journey here happened for a reason, and I got where I got here only through the events that happened to me. Generally speaking, if I was to change, I would obviously start certain things much earlier. Because as you go along with different things here, like, you learn about RSPs, you learn about TFCA, like mostly like related to the financials that are not very common where I'm coming from. like I would definitely probably start investing my money a little bit early if I had any at the time. So, but that's probably the only one thing I probably would change. But generally, I think the way my road laid out here is what got me here. So, and I'm very appreciative for that.
Thank you. And Dolly and Lily, do you want to share what you would change about your history?
What I like to change. There's two things. One is I'm suffering some change. I cannot choose it. The change is my friend. Yeah, because I leave my country, and the distance is really make difference. Although we have a media, but yeah, I lost my friend in my hometown, and I have a lot of friends here. I think for a person in life, very important things is five. One is healthy. The second is he or her income or business or whatever career. And the third, maybe is not as thought by important, just the five elements. Another is a family, like spouse, like kids. And another thing is the friends. So those is very important around our whole life. And when I move here, yeah, I feel my health is changed. This is not in my plan, but I'm very happy because move in Saskatoon, the slow pace, not compared with the big city. So I have more time for the sports and make myself more healthy and strong. This is the change I experienced. And yeah, the bad things is I just lost some friend in my hometown, but I have a more and more friend here. This is another change. The biggest change is my family members, my son. In my own country, my son is just learning how to practice, how to successful in the exam, and for the future, for the career, for himself, he don't think about it because the whole, the whole country, the whole education. The environment just let them to like a robot, like a machine, to do a lot of practice exam, and afterwards have a very high score and go to the university. This I moved to Canada. I have a big change of my kids. He know how he want to be, how to approach, how to communicate with his network, and how to survive by himself, not to rely on the parents. This change is what I'm expected to, and actually the result is very satisfying. This is my change.
Thank you so much. Hanjung, you have raised your hand. Do you want to ask any question? Hanjung?
Well, in the interest of time, I don't know. I just wanted to make a quick comment. Thank you so much for all the panelists for your stories. And one thing I wish I could change if I go back to my first time in Saskatoon, I would have wanted to be much more active in networking and volunteering work. And my area of specialization is English language education. And a lot of you mentioned improving language skill is a key to success for newcomers. And if you need any help and any more people to be involved in those activities for newcomers, I'd be more than happy to share my skills and like compassion in leadership, mindfulness practice, and all these things. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And Lily, do you want to share your experience, how you would like to change in your story?
I feel right now, if I don't think I will change anything. Right now it's the best of myself. If I will give me another chance to choose, I will still immigrate to Canada and still living here and do whatever I like, because the business I'm doing is what I like. and everything is just the best to me. Yeah, never change, still the same.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Now we are turning it over to our MC for the next item on program. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Shin. I don't know if you're able to see me or not, but my laptop has not been cooperative for the last 5 minutes. Awesome, perfect. I would like to say a big thank you to all the panelists. This was a very productive discussion. Thank you all for sharing your wonderful stories and your expertise. And a big thank you to all the attendees for your very insightful questions. The purpose of today's public engagement forum was to hear from these panelists and also receive feedback from the public. So today is only the start of this conversation. Immigration Partnership Saskatoon will be using learnings from today and along with the other strategies as we work with our partners to find ways to improve employment for newcomers' employment in Saskatoon. I would also like to give a special thank you to Jasmine. She put in a lot of effort for the event today for everything to go smoothly, and it probably wouldn't have been possible without her. So thank you very much, Jasmine. It's been a pleasure for me to be with all of you here today. And I would like to say that we're all looking forward to a brighter future for all newcomers, for employment and their integration. So thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your feedback. And I wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.